You are under a cyber attack. This statement can make any founder nervous because when we talk about the security, one thing that everyone is scared about that how about a security incident that can take away everything, all the hard work a founder or a company would have built. Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of the Compliance Playbook. Today we have got Debashish with us. He has been in the industry for 15 years, worked with organizations like IBM, PhonePe, and he understands the security incidents very, very well. So today we'll speak to Devashish and understand that if your organization is under a cyber attack, what are the basic things you should do to make sure that everything else is working well and you can get everything back what you have lost. So let's get started. Hi Devashish, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Manoj. Thank you for inviting me into the podcast.
Devashish, for all my audience, what is a cybersecurity incident or what is a security incident? Because as a layman, as someone who do not understands the basics of security, can confuse any incident with a security incident. So if you can, set that context for the audience, how do you understand whenever you have an incident? Like, is it a security incident or it is something else?
Okay, sure. So basically, you have rightly said that normally people get confused in an incident and a security incident. So not all incidents are security incidents. It can be an operational incident, it can be an IT incident, but only when an incident compromises the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of any information or
Hmm.
information assets, then it is called as a security incident. Otherwise, it will be just an incident. And also, people, often forget about the availability part. So even if the incident is compromising the availability, it is a security incident and shall be treated as security incident.
Got
That
it.
would be my
Devash,
definition. Yeah.
no, I think that was a very clean definition because if any one of us would open the first page of any security book, this is the triangle or this is a triad that we talk about in any of the certification, be it CISSP or CISM, the
Hmm.
CIA. So, Devashi, just if you can add a little more context, like what happens around the confidentiality, what happens around the integrity, and what happens around the availability before we
All
deep dive
right.
into the incident part.
All right. So, yeah, as you said, CIA is, very integral part of security or cyber security. It is
Yeah,
oftenly called the three pillars of cyber security. So,
yeah.
confidentiality is when data should only be accessed by the person who is authorized to access it, and it should not be accessed by anyone else. Okay. Integrity is a data or information or any system can only be modified or changed by an authorized person and not by anyone else. For example, let's say I have my personal social media account, let's say LinkedIn account or YouTube account. So I want to safeguard it and I want to make sure that only I can change my details or any other things, right? I don't want
Mhm.
everyone to come and so that is integrity. And then confidentiality is again, I want to use my personal account and no one else should use it. Even nowadays, in family also people keep their phone lock and they want their privacy. So that
Hmm.
is confidentiality. And availability, again, it is most important, I will say. It is whenever I want to access that account, my account or any of the information or data, I should be able to access it. Let's say
Ah,
I have my personal account and I want to access it at now. And if I'm not able to access it, that means there is a availability issue. So it should be available to me whenever I want to. So that is
got it.
the breakdown of CIA.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much, Devashish, for explaining the CIA part of the overall security thing. So now let's say,
Mhm.
Devashish, my environment has been compromised, or
Yeah,
I am
okay.
under attack, or my organization is under attack. I get to know by email or by an SMS, or some team member comes and inform me.
Hmm.
What is the first step? Like if there's a security in this incident, if I'm under the attack, and I want to know from the organization level, not the individual level, because at an individual level, a security incident could be very small, probably something around my personal mobile. So I would like to know from the organization level that what I need to do as a first thing as a founder of the company or as a security
Hmm.
officer, if I get to know my organization is under the attack.
Okay. So the first thing is always determining if it is actually an incident or not, because there you will get lot of alerts and in your day-to-day life, because but most of them could be a false positive. So only a very
Mm,
few of them would be true positive or an incident. So for an organization perspective, the first step should be preparation. In an incident response life cycle, if you see, the first step is preparation. So in that preparation, an organization make sure that the incident response governance is in place, the policies, procedures are in place, there is a plan, and the necessary team, incident response team is in place. And at the end, they are also doing some drills to make sure they are able to do whenever a live incident comes. Now, when
got it.
a actual incident comes, the first step is to look into the incident quickly and see if it is an actual incident or not, to see if it is, if, like, let's say there is a alert of five failed login attempts, right?
Mm,
So it can be an attacker trying to log into your system, or it can be some person who has forgotten his password. So
yeah,
we cannot treat both as a security incident, right?
got it.
So we have to just quickly investigate. The SOC team looks at the logs and look at different security tools like your EDR, like your SIM and other logs, and see if it is actual incident or if it is just a false positive. So this is
Got
the
it.
very first step person should do. If you don't know it is an actual incident, you are wasting your resource, right? You are going
Mm,
through all the incident response plan and you're wasting your resource. So you should always keep your resources for the actual incident.
got it. So I think, Devanshu, you said two things very well. One, even before the incident happened is the planning part, because I think most of
Hmm.
the organization, they are not even prepared for that what we would do when there's an incident. So I think that's a very good thing. Like, and as an organization, I need to have a plan. I need to have an evacuation plan that, let's say, something would happen. These are the two or three things I would do. These are the emails I will send. These are the team members that would come do XYZ activities, and doing this drill kind of an activity inside. And second, also the example that you took of trying to log in. Yes, I can understand being the application founder myself, because a lot
Hmm.
of time we are like, okay, why there are so many, why someone is trying to reset the password or something.
Yeah.
So I think that's also very good way to look at it. Like whenever you are getting your system is giving you some indication, notification, you have to deep dive and understand that does it really need some reaction, or it's just a false positive. So now let's say, Debashish, it is an actual incident. I realize, okay,
Hmm.
someone is trying to
Hmm.
get into my system, or eventually have got into my system. It's a DDoS.
Yeah.
It's a distributed denial system that has
Hmm.
something happen. Now what?
Now, if you are saying that it is actually an incident, now what? Now, what
Hmm,
is the next step is containment. Containment means you have to
hmm,
contain the incident and you have to make sure that it doesn't, laterally moves to other system. Let's say one of your system is experiencing a DDoS attack, but it should not move to the other critical systems. And in containment, we also get to know the root cause. Get to know how can we go ahead and make our systems up and running, because in a business environment the main goal of incident management is always make sure your business is up and running, not to
hmm.
fix the root cause. Fixing the root cause is a different team, maybe a problem management team can do it, or a later effect, like when you do eradication or recovery, then we can do it. But actual incident management goal is to make sure your business is up and running as quickly as possible. So you have to
Got it.
see, you can switch to a different backup or DR site, and your system should be up and running within no time. Your data RTO and RPO, which is recovery time objective and recovery point objective, should not hamper. So once your business application is up and running, or your system is up and running, critical system, then you can move to the later phase and you can see how this incident came, what actually caused. You can do the eradication, you can do the recovery of that particular device, and then
Hmm.
bring it back to the operations once everything is done, once all the necessary actions are taken. But eventually, first step or the second step which you are saying is to make sure your business comes live as soon as as
Got it. That was a very classic thing, because as a founder, or as someone who's leading the InfoSec company, they often get nervous just because the first part has not been done well. There is no
uh,
preparedness, no planning. They
right,
get
right.
nervous when they get to know about the security incident. And I think what you said, the principle work of an incident management team is to make sure that business is up and running, not to find
Right,
the
right.
root cause.
Uh,
And that's where people need to, do not need to over engineer things.
Over engineer things and overreact and try to fix the problem, try to fix the root
Yeah,
cause. And it will take 10 hours, 12 hours, maybe 2 days, 3 days, and your business is not running in 2 days. You are losing your customers. You are
you're
losing your
losing your
customers' trust.
customer.
Yeah, you are losing
Correct,
your
correct.
customers' trust. So or maybe within these 2 days, when you were trying to fix the root cause, the attacker has already infiltrated a lot of data. So you need to make
Exactly.
sure you just tame the incident, close the endpoint, and then start your business up and running from a different site, different location. If it is, or you can fix it quickly, then it is fine. But you have to make sure your RTO and RPO which you have set should not be
Yeah.
breached, should not be
Should
exceeded.
not be breached. No, I think the superb thing, Devashay. Like, even if I am going to talk to my friends in the same industry or some across, I think very good takeaway. Like the job of the incident management team is not to fix the problem, just to contain
Right.
the problem, make sure your business is up and running, make sure the problem do not spread to the another critical applications in your
Yes.
environment. Switch back to your DR, get back to your business up and running. It should not impact your RTO and RPO. Superb. I think Devashit, I never thought of it this way because, again, coming from the security background, I have been doing this all my life, but to put it out so clearly in the terms of a layman language makes a lot of sense. So now Devashi is going to the next point here because I think one thing you said very well that now you need to contain it and separate it. It's like even in the
Yeah.
normal human language, we say that if there's a poison in one part of the body, the first thing you
Yeah.
need to do is that it should not spread across everywhere.
Spread
You need to
across.
cut that part. So and you need to ask yourself, you want to let go one part of your body or you want to let go the whole body. So I think
Right, right.
that's a classic analogy that most of
Yeah,
the time
once you
our
contain it and separate it from other systems, you have a lot of time. You have all the time in your hand to
to do the
do the
root cause.
formatting, whatever you can want to do, you can do it. You're right. But if you
Yeah,
are trying to fix it now, you are losing time, you are losing your business. So if your business is there, then only your system would be there. If you lose your business, there
yeah.
is no point fixing the
Nothing to
system.
fix. Nothing
Uh,
to fix.
right. So
So it's like don't
always
fix
we
the
should
problem, fix
first,
the situation.
yeah, fix
Oh
the
my
business
god.
first.
Yeah,
Because if
got
the
it. No,
business
no,
is there,
classic.
then all the systems would be there, all the employees would be there.
You will
If there
keep
is
doing
no
it.
business, yeah. So always, first of all, like when we move to a higher level, and when you are giving VCSO consulting and everything, so we have to take a broader mindset and we have to make sure
Hmm.
that we look business first and then we go to the technical things. For
Yeah.
technical things, we have people, we have engineers who are working 24/7. But our job as a leader is to make sure that our business is up and running, and our
Hmm.
business is feeding all these technical people, all of us. So we have to make sure that the mother is alive so that all the childrens
All the
are
children
getting
can be
feeded.
alive. No,
Yeah.
no, superb, superb. So, Devashin, now tell me this thing. Now we talked about the incident first part that you need to content it. You might have to do 100 things to content the incident. I think the another thing that come across every time when you are dealing with an enterprise clients and most of the people they know about it. Reporting of the incident. That depending on the line of business, depending on the product or service you are selling, you might have an SLA of reporting the incident. Now, but tell me one thing. Now, as a founder, if I think there's something wrong in my organization, why should I go and tell people about it? Why should I give a phone call or drop an email, whatever is the format? So what is that mindset like? See, I coming from the security background, I understand the importance of going out and informing your client because that's a regulatory requirement. But
Mhm.
from the nuances of cybersecurity, from the because of the basics of cybersecurity, why is it required? Because like when something wrong happens in our house, we don't go out and tell people. They don't say, oh, something has gone wrong. So what is the mindset here of the reporting? That why I should report it? What is the basic reason around it?
Okay. First of all, you have mentioned the regulatory requirements. So whichever organization is operating in India, have a government of India has a body called CERT In. Okay.
Yeah.
So certain has mandated to report all the security incidents. Not all. There are categories like there should be breach or some number of systems can be is down. There are categories. So all those incidents has to be reported to certain within 6 hours of detection. So it doesn't
Hmm.
say within 6 hours of incident. It says within 6 hours of detection or you noticing that the
Hmm.
incident has come. Now, why does certain ask you to do that? There are few things why you said that we there is something wrong. Why would we want to report it? But you don't understand that if you don't report it to the proper bodies or to your customers or to your clients, then there could be certain help which you can get from them, right? Certain does when you report an incident, they will go to the root cause. They will see what all the IPs are. They will try to block it from from their own channels. They will try to gather more information and share with you. They will help you in doing the forensics. So all these things can be done, right? So let's say some insider employee has caused this incident, right? He was one of the perpetrators.
Yeah.
So how would you know? He can change the logs. Maybe he has done some damage. They have a method to go ahead and do the forensics and see if the logs were tampered or not. So you need all the help you can get, right? It's not that
Got it.
if I hide it, then I am already losing my if it
Hmm.
gets leaked by via let's say my customer's data is being leaked and your customer will get to know it from the news and not from you.
You
So they would lose that trust as well. Like
got it.
this attack can happen to anyone. If you even have a lot of security layers and everything, that then also the security attack is possible. Data exfiltration is possible. But if you are giving it to your customers, if you are telling them on time, they would understand that you don't wanted to do it or you did not have anything to hide and you are already made them aware about their data breach or something. If they get to know it from someone else or media, they would lose trust that you didn't inform your customer, you didn't inform your client. And then the government or regulatory body is a different issue. But when you are serving your clients, you have to make sure you are transparent with them. Otherwise,
Hmm.
they would lose that trust. And one last thing I will add on to this, recovering from monetary loss, like if some system crashes or if is very easy. Money can come
Yeah.
and go, but
Yeah.
recovering from a reputation loss is very difficult. Your
Yeah.
entire millions and billion of dollar companies get bankruptcy in within few days. I can give you
Hmm.
some example where mistrust, like let's say I'll take an example of Blue Smart. It was a 5,000 crore company, and
Yeah.
one mistrust led to the bankruptcy. And now where is Blue Smart? No, 5,000 companies gone within 1 month. So that is the one
Hmm.
thing what reputation loss can cause, right?
Got it. Got it. No, I think Devashish, you gave a very right context here, that the two major reason that why should I tell my clients and regulator. One, they can help me in spreading it more. Sometimes you do not have the medicine for all the causes, but sometimes it's
Mm,
possible that the regulator or the client or the fellow organization might have already seen similar kind of a problem, and then they can come and help you as a community, or
mm,
also just to make sure that it does not spread more in the whole environment. And second, more important thing is like, it's better that you go and tell them rather than they watch it in the
yeah,
news or watch it,
right, right, right.
from a third party, because that can cause a lot of mistrust. And like you said, if you lose the money, you might, ever get it
Earn it.
back. But if
Yeah,
you lost the trust, you are gone. You're gone. I
right,
think
right.
Devashish, that was a very good point of about the reporting of incident. So Devashish, we talked about understanding what is security incident. We understand what to do when there's an incident. We talked about the reporting. But how does this whole thing, Devashish, blend into the GRC part of the company? Because again, when you talk about the cybersecurity in general, we always keep it into two major buckets.
Mm,
One is a technical part of it, where we do this a security incident part or vulnerability assessment or pen testing, or firewall, antivirus, where we talk about the technicalities of that, how a cybersecurity incident can happen or how to prevent it. And second part is a pure governance, where we have the policies, standards, more of the documentation, sanitization of the thing. So how does GRC blend into GRC, or how can GRC help to have a better incident management in the company?
Okay. Again, I will start response to this question with an example or with a quote. So GRC is always the nervous system, right? GRC is the backbone of a cybersecurity or information security in an organization. Why I'm saying this is GRC would be the one which is connecting different departments, different things into one. Let's say you mentioned pen testing, you mentioned VAPT, you mentioned SIM, SOC. We have n number of things to mention like network security, everything. But how
Yeah.
do you connect all of them together? They would be working into a siloed environment, and they don't connect with each other because they are just doing their technical job, right? But GRC is the one which is telling them that this is the policy, this is how you will collaborate within you. If an incident comes, this is your job, this is your job. This is all made by GRC. GRC will say how many times in a year you have to do penetration testing or a VAPT. You cannot do it always, right? GRC will give you timelines how soon you can remediate your vulnerabilities. GRC will give you regulatory guidelines. What are the regulator want? Otherwise, you are doing your job, but you don't know what your regulatory body wants, and you will be still getting fines and penalties,
Mm.
right? So all this comes. GRC will help you in your audits, or GRC will audit your environment and say
Oh,
if
yes.
your team is doing actual job or not. Maybe you have 10 people in your soft team, but maybe two or three of them is not doing the job how it needs to be done. Who would find that out? That is the work of the GRC. Now, as I said earlier, in incident management perspective, governance is most important, risk management is most important. These two are most important. When you are a CISO or you are in a leadership role, you have to not look things on the technical part. You don't have to see there are this much vulnerabilities, 100 or 1,000 vulnerabilities. I have to clear these vulnerabilities. Those are the job of the people who are in the vulnerability assessment role. What you
Yeah.
have to look at, you have to look at the risk. What are the risks due to these vulnerabilities? Are these vulnerabilities causing impact to my organization, or it is just maybe even if I don't remediate it, I have a workaround around it, right? For that you have to know how the risks are impacting, what is your risk appetite, how much risk an organization can bear. Then otherwise you will waste your resources. Let's say if you do a vulnerability assessment, you must know that whenever you do it, you will find thousands and thousands of vulnerabilities, right?
Mm.
Out of those thousands, maybe 50 to 60% would be false positive because
Yeah.
those are could be some tool-led vulnerabilities or which are not important or for the servers which are not connected to the internet. So how do you know that these are not relevant? This is when you are doing your risk assessment, when you know your environment and you know the risk, right?
Mm.
That these risks can be accepted and you don't waste your resources on those remediation. Otherwise, they will
Perfect.
keep on doing the remediation, and you don't have a direction. You don't have a nervous system. Your blood
Yeah.
won't know where to flow. So this is
Got
how
it.
GRC works. And then
Got it.
governance is always planning and making a strategy. If you don't have the strategy, your team would go wherever they want. The network security too would do their job. The VAPT would do their job. So different team would do their different job and would never collaborate with each other, and then will never form a proper information security team. So to
Got it.
form a proper team, you have to make sure your governance is strong. So this is
Got
how
it.
GRC
Got it.
comes into picture.
Now, I think what you said, Devashish, made a lot of sense because I think governance helps you to understand what is your territory, what is your boundary, because a lot of time the technical team might not know what is their boundary, and they'll just keep solving the problem that doesn't even exist, or that's not even
Right,
relevant to my line of
right,
business. So I
right,
think
right, right.
GRC gives you a very good, kind of a insights of your own system of a business, that these are the risks that we have already accepted. Please don't solve it. Or these are the risks that we have accepted as a, like, okay, this cannot be mitigated or whatsoever. So I
Yeah,
think if the technical team knows this insights, it can not just save them the time but also a lot of efforts, because whenever we go to this false positives, it takes away a lot of time that we might have spent doing the right thing. And
right,
because
right.
as a human, again, as a human or as a team, we have a limited time and effort that we can spend on certain things. So I think Devashi, this was a very good way of looking at GRC, because
Yeah,
again, smaller organization, they do not take GRC very serious. They take the cybersecurity technical part very seriously. They'll do VAPT and whatnot, but they
Uh,
had no playbook. There's nothing to look at. Like
That's
if
why,
something would
yeah.
happen, they do not have anything to refer to.
Right, right. That's why
Yeah,
they fail at the later end when they realize that GRC is important, and then they look for someone to help in GRC. But yeah,
yeah,
definitely, I will give one more example here that let's say you are a manufacturing organization, not manufacturing or something. You
yeah,
have 10 or 20 computers, and some
yeah.
incident came, right? And you, or maybe you have again you then did the VAPT of your systems and found out a lot of vulnerabilities. Now you are investing resources to fix those. However, your primary business is manufacturing. You need to focus on that. You don't need to focus on that 10 computers which your employees are using.
Yeah.
So that is how risk assessment is important. What are major risks? Is
Uh,
my risk acceptance allowing those 10 computers to remediate or not? So that is how GRC is not just only IT perspective or cyber security perspective. GRC is important. For an overall organization, GRC is important. I would say from the inception of an organization, people should always focus on GRC. If they are focusing on GRC, automatically the strategy would take them to the later technical teams would be formed and everything
100%.
would be streamlined. So you don't start with technical, you start with for GRC, and then your technical would automatically align to each other with GRC coming into picture, with regulatory things coming into picture.
Got it, got it. No, I think Devashi, that made a lot of sense around the GRC part, and I think everyone who who feel the technical, let's fix the technical part. We'll look into the governance or the documentation
Hmm.
later. I think this can be a lot of reality check for those people. Debashish, do you have any one real story on your mind that you would like to share with the audience without taking of the name of the client? Because again, we come from the infosec, we can't name the people.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
do you have any one story on your mind where there was an incident and it was a false positive, or it was not detected well, or there was not enough preparation? Only if you want to share, like if you're allowed to share.
Yeah, I have a very good example for it, and also it's a real world example. So there was a uh, client of which I was doing the VCSO services, and I was guiding them in different thing. Again, it was their main job was not IT. They were into
Hmm.
some other manufacturing or export import business. So, but there some of their critical applications were running on their systems, and those were the applications which were used for their financial operations and buying, purchasing, and other things. So those were critical to them. So suddenly, what happened one morning? There were fluctuations, and the they it's suspected like a DDoS attack. There sometimes systems were getting crashed, and APIs were not responding and other things. So the SOC team in tried to investigate and see, but there was no pattern kind of thing, right? It was sometimes it was the DDoS was coming, sometimes it was fine. So they did lot of investigations and everything, and they were not able to find the root cause. That's when for we moved to a different system. Business was running, but we tried to find the root cause, and we were not able to find it because what was happening, like you will see a DDoS now for few minutes, and then again it goes. So while the investigation was going on, someone asked to check the hardware things, because most of the time we forget about the hardware. We find go look into the software logs and
Software.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they saw that one of their fiber cable, the rat has chewed it, and it was not completely broken, so it was like kind of half chewed or something. So it was just giving signal sometimes, then signal loss was getting lost. So that's how this incident happened. And at the end, we made sure that not every incident can be a security or a technical incident. Sometimes we have to go back to the basics. So yeah, that was one funny
Yeah.
incident I remember.
Got it. No, I think a lot of time, because I think, like I said in the beginning, every time we get to know the systems have been compromised, the first thing
Hmm.
that comes to our mind, we become nervous. We
Right,
don't
right.
spend enough time in trying to understand that is it a right security incident or not. And like you said, It can be much more than the software. It can be the hardware part as well.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
got it. So Devashish, I think we spoke about a lot of things. Now we're moving towards the end of the segment. Now,
Yeah.
any new youngster who is trying to get into this or trying to become an incident analyst or trying to become the security aspect expert, what is the one piece of advice that you would like to give to the new youngster entering the industry today?
So one piece of advice is don't rush. Don't try to get some. I've seen youngsters looking for roles like security architect, or maybe they just want to move to, they think that we'll do few certifications and we will move to the, manager level or L3 of SOC. Don't rush, otherwise you will miss the basic. You will always have to make sure that you spend that time which is required in a particular role, spend that energy, spend that time, learn about things, then move. Otherwise, maybe I've seen many youngsters out of college trying to become founders or entrepreneurs. It is very good that they are doing what they are doing, but always try to keep in mind the basics as well, and try to make sure that you understand how an organization works, how what are the basics, and always try to make sure that not just technical, make sure that your documentation, GRC or governance, your risk and everything should be fine in when an organization looks into a cyber security field. So you can diverse yourself. Don't just try to be some role or target. You can diverse your knowledge. You can get into GRC, you can get into SOC, you can get into VAPT, you can get into certain other security things, network security. All these things you can get into as initially, but once you get into it, try to learn other things, and then you can move up in the ladder. That is what my advice would be. So always try to learn whatever resources you get, and if you learn properly, you will eventually achieve your goals.
Yeah, sure. Devash, I think that was a very good advice. The focus in the initial day should be on the learning rather than on the titles.
Hmm.
So thanks a lot, Devashish, for spending time with us on this Sunday morning. I understand like all of us are the family people. So thank you so
Yeah,
much for spending time. Thank you so much for sharing
that's
that
right.
knowledge. And the best part is like everything that you said was broken into a language that even a normal person who's not from the security background will be able to understand. So I'm sure that audience that who will be watching this episode, they will exactly understand that what to do when there's a security incident. Don't get nervous, get through it. So Devashish, thanks a lot. We'll keep coming back to you for more such
Yeah,
knowledge. Thanks for your time.
sure.